I want to ask you about Greenland. Do you believe U.S. controlling Greenland is in the best interest of the United States national security, best interest of NATO member states as well?
Well, it's good to be with you today, and exciting times right now here at NATO, obviously, with all the issues that are going on. My belief is that this whole discussion is about the security and the defense of North America, the continent of North America, and therefore Greenland. And obviously, President Trump and his advisors do not believe that the country is properly secured. We are obviously having a lot of discussions with the Kingdom of Denmark on these topics. I do not doubt for a minute that we will be able to get to a resolution that's satisfactory to both sides. But ultimately, as the ice thaws and as the routes in the Arctic and the high north open up, Greenland becomes a very serious security risk for the mainland of the United States of America. And we need to make sure that we work with all of our NATO allies, because it's called the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, obviously, and the North Atlantic, which Greenland sits in, is crucial to the protection of all of our allies, and especially the United States of America.
So there are 6 European allies rallying Denmark's support amid calls for the U.S. to control Greenland. In a joint statement, leaders of the UK, of France, Germany, Italy, Poland, Spain, and Denmark writing, quote, "Greenland belongs to its people, and only Denmark and Greenland can decide on matters concerning their relations." Can you respond to that statement from the United States perspective, from where we stand with NATO, that Denmark has a role to play determining Greenland's future, or do they not?
Well, obviously, that's who we're talking to about the security of Greenland right now, and making sure that it's well defended, and most importantly, that Chinese, Russian, and other actors that don't have the best interests of the United States and its allies in mind are kept out economically, kept out militarily. And so, this is an ongoing discussion that we're having both here at NATO, we're having in Denmark, through our representatives. As you know, the president appointed a special representative in Governor Jeff Landry to work on these issues. And so, I feel like, it's premature to include or exclude anything, because these discussions are ongoing. And I think I would report right now are very productive.
All right, fair point. I did want to point out the president's Truth Social post just recently. This is about NATO, so this would involve you, but here's just a part of what he said. He had a lot to say, but he did go on to put in all caps, "Russia and China have zero fear of NATO without the United States, and I doubt NATO would be there for us if we really needed them. Everyone is lucky that I rebuilt our military in my first term and continue to do so." And he goes on to say, "We will always be there for NATO, even if they won't be there for us. The only nation that China and Russia fear and respect is the DJT rebuilt USA." Can you respond to that? And obviously, you can't get in the mind of the president there, but does he speak truth there in terms of the fear of NATO is not there without the United States of America?
Yeah, well, first of all, I've spent a lot of time with the president. I was in the first administration with him and have known him for a long time. What I know is that he believes in peace through strength. And the United States is strong, as he points out. Our military is strong. Our economy is strong. And what he is demanding out of our NATO allies is that they join us in that strength. For almost 40 years, they let the military capabilities of Europe and Canada wither. They did not spend enough money on their own defense, and therefore the alliance was weaker than it should have been. Donald Trump gets elected, holds people to account. And in this case, we got 5% commitment at the NATO summit in The Hague this last year. We are now operationalizing that, but that must be capabilities and real power from our allies. We need strong Germany, Poland, France, UK. All of our NATO allies have to join us in our capabilities, because the United States, as you see, whether it's seizing these oil vessels today, whether it's what we were able to do in Caracas over the weekend, or whether it is all of the other things we have demonstrated, including Midnight Hammer. President Trump knows we're strong. He uses that strength where appropriate to advance American interests. But we need our allies to join us and to be equally competent, strong, ready, and most importantly, lethal.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.